Yeah, my name is Col Harvey. I'm currently working as a maintenance planner at Harwood. I started here as an apprentice in 1979 after leaving school and completed that apprenticeship. In that period, I got married in 1982 to my wife, still married to my wife. And I did leave the place and had a little bit of broken period between 83 and 86, 87, coming back to do some maintenance in the maintenance period, but primarily operated cane harvesters in that period. I came back permanent in 2001 as a maintenance fitter, and then after later that year I qualified for a leading hands role in the refinery, which I was there for 13 years as the maintenance leading hand and planner, and now produced on to the maintenance planner for the whole site. So currently that's what I do now. So I've been flying the flag for the Harwood Sugar Mill for quite a number of years. I think working here at the mill it's a bit challenging at times in some of my roles here as a planner and leading hand. Just the ability to try and keep the place going, calling the shots the best ability to fix the plant up and keep it going. Particularly I'm talking about the refinery in my time over there. The refinery was quite reliable over a few years there, and we did have some records over the time that I was over there, not more or less according to me, but it was an area of high sales and a lot of high production of sugar that we had to put into white sugar through the refinery process. In that time it was a challenge to keep the place going, to maintain that throughput, and I enjoyed that quite a lot. You know, you didn't have any time for mucking around. It was just head down, tail up. And the team that I had working for me at the time over there were really good and made the job fairly easy. Now at the moment I'm spread across the whole site, and I find that enjoying. There's other challenges there attributed to that as well, but we're all here to do the one common role, and that's to try and keep this mill going, to crush the crop and produce refined sugar for sales. So that's where I am. How's the mill shaped my life? Well, that's a pretty good question. I suppose I live 6 kilometres away from the mill and never out of sight. My whole lifetime I've spent here. Yes, like I said earlier, I was married at a fairly young age, and that coincided because the ability that I had with a permanent job here at the mill enabled that. I grew up on a cane farm, my parents' cane farm, and I guess you more or less could say that sugar's in my blood. I love the industry, I love the work. Over my lifetime it's given me the opportunity to do things that I wanted to do associated with the area, associated with the industry, and given me the opportunity to do things that I want to do. So it's been a win-win for me really all around. I've met a lot of nice people. I've worked with a lot of skilled tradies, and I've really haven't got any bad things to say about any of it. I've enjoyed the lot. So yeah. Okay, the celebrations are twofold actually. One, that it's quite interesting to see that this industry survived for 150 years, which is a great thing. It's Australian owned. For me to be part of it too, it gives me great relief as an employee that I've been part of the journey, I guess. The backside of that is it's given me my life as well. But being interested in the history of the place too as well is opened up a wonderful world of finding what my older colleagues that have retired can bring to the table. it's absolutely amazing what we've actually found out that we didn't know about the place because of this event. And moving forward with this, what we've capsulated over the time is like a time capsule. We'll have this for the future, and I really do commend those people with their thoughts, with their information, and all of this. And going forward, once again, it's a big flag fly for the industry and for Manildra Harwood Sugars, I guess. We're still in business and we're doing well. And the 150 years of ownership and running of the mill stands tesitude for that. Well, living in the area, growing up in the cane industry, I guess I have seen quite a significant amount of changes. First, growing up on a farm at Ashby, over there, Ashby Island, my parents' farm, I first, as growing up in the younger ages, was the cane cutters. It was the burning the cane, getting out there, having a group of men come in and cut cane, then the loading of it, then the improvements to actually hauling cane to the derricks, see the cane loading, playing around the cane punt sometimes with a strict father or strict parent ripping us off the cane punts, thinking we're going to drown if we fell off them. You know, we used to do a lot of playing around the waterfront because our farm was on the waterfront, and that traditionally was a great part of my life growing up, near the water, fishing, doing a lot of water sports and all that. Even going through school, I participated in rowing and a lot of water sports there as well, and that. So I suppose going forward, yeah, still my passion is fishing, and probably draws me back to the water. Some of the changes when I first started here as an apprentice, it was very early stages of the cooperative when the sugar mills were bought out from CSR in 78. I started here in 79, which is just after that, and saw the death of the water transport industry and the conception mainly of the road transport. And the biggest item was that cane was delivered to the mill in hull stalk form in the earlier stages, and when I started here it was all chopped cane, which meant it was harvested by mechanical machines and hauled in by truck. So that's probably the first major change I've seen. In my working career, there's been a number of changes here. The first one being the inclusion of the shredder, which shredded the cane. Then we saw the present boiler, the new John Thompson boiler, go in 1982 with the full fuel conveyor system set up. In 84, we saw another mill added to the milling train. And then after that, we moved into 89 and the refinery come into play on site. But just prior to that, we had this massive big sugar shed erected. So I saw most of those changes and they were quite dramatic to this place. But in my time here, even outside of the mill, when I did break away and go out, I was in harvesting, and I was still able to be connected with the mill in a few non-crush seasons with maintenance coming back and keeping attuned with what was happening here. So there was quite a significant amount of change when the cooperative took over here in 78, and they put their heads down and tails up to improving the site to increase tonnage, for one thing. And I think in 1999 we had a record year of over 900,000 tonnes here at Harwood, and that was quite a significant change to what we did around here. And following on from that, you know, the improvements with the refinery have all coincided with that event. So there's some of the major things I've seen. Around the area, we used to travel across a ferry at Maclean called the Ashby Ferry. We used to go to school on that ferry. Over the time, that ferry has been retired, and we got a bridge for all the people at Ashby to come across the back channel bridge, they were called, and that gave us access to Chatsworth onto Harwood Island and then into Maclean. So we lost the ferry and gained a true road, you call it, that was bridged. So that was a major, I suppose, improvement to the way we did things around here in my lifetime. Yeah, so there's some of the things. I know my father, while growing up, was a councillor, and he went on to be mayor of the area here for 13 years. And I was without a father for about 13 years of my life because he was tied up with other things. So we had to get out and sort ourselves out without the benefit of him being there all the time, which we supported. And yeah, it was just little things like that that brings back memories to me and on how the world has changed in such a short time in my lifetime that, yeah, have a lot of good memories with me. Well, what I'd like to say is that, you know, to promote this industry the way I've enjoyed it kicking back on my life, is I would like to say that we could have this factory here as a standout role model that produces its crop with significant efficiency that it's industry standard. You know, like I'd like to see this place do really, really well, which would also benefit the growers. So it's a win-win. As much as I'd like to see this factory go heads and tails up the ladder as far as efficiencies and what it can produce, the flow-on effect, I'd like to see my fellow growers do well out of it as well. So yeah, that's my superpower. Yeah, I'm not being selfish here because I'd like to have a lot of superpowers myself for other things, but traditionally for this purpose, the 150, that's what I'd like to see. Yeah. Yeah, there's some quite good significant memories there. First of all, starting as an apprentice, um, the skilled tradesmen that we had here in the place. I know one in particular who was my biggest mentor was a guy named Jimmy Want, and he was a fitter here and he's very, very capable. I remember my parents saying to me, because they knew Jimmy as well, saying that every time Jimmy picks up a spanner or puts on a welding helmet, follow him. And I did follow him, and I had a lot of respect for that man, and I'm pretty sure that I was very, very grateful what I learned off him. There was other guys in the place as well that were very, very skilled, the likes of Alan Biddle, Barry Wiblin, Ronnie Cowling, Ronnie Griebert, just to name a few. There are a few that I'll just pluck out of the sky. They were all very, very good tradies, and in an era that this mill was very, very efficient and very, very reliable. Those guys were stalwarts and had the ability to gain your respect. I will say respect is one very, very strong word that I got out of that a long, long time ago. So those guys are very, very good. Going on, my time as the leading hand and planner in the refinery, I've mentioned earlier that it was some of the best years of my life, my youngest years in my working career, and I was given probably a fair bit of control of how to call the shots and fix things and try and keep that place going with other engineers in support. And I feel that was some of my better parts of my career here. When I parted with the company earlier after my apprenticeship, I went out into harvesting, and I got to know basically nearly every cane grower on the river. And I've got to say that I don't have any bad things to say. You know, I quite enjoyed that part of my working career as well, out in the field, and I was exposed to a lot of things in the field as well as improvements and that out there as well. So yeah, I've got to say, in recognition to all that, the 150 events brought out so many good memories. There's a lot of people out there that have fantastic memories, and when you start to mention all these little eccentricities within that particular part of this, it just invigorates the speech, invigorates people what they have, and it's so bloody good to be a part of it. Yeah.